Embracing the haters and welcoming criticism. Here's Straight Cody. He's going to become a fitness influencer, whether he likes it or not, because I'm putting him on camera all the time and bringing him a lot of attention. And he's already got haters. And I told him that you don't want to be like these other influencers. Okay, these other influencers that are friends, who are very famous, have huge followings, who can't handle criticism, delete the negative comments and block people who are giving criticism. There's a benefit to that. It creates a positive community, all positive vibes, all happy, inspirational. But you as an influencer, you don't learn from that. You don't grow from that. You'll plateau forever. You'll just be the same person. You'll never refine yourself. You'll never improve yourself. It's the haters, it's the negativity that will cause you to refine yourself. They say like a girl who's been through an abusive relationship and, you know, gets all this negativity, she says like, oh, she becomes like a diamond, right? She's like they put it in a negative way.
Yeah.
But the truth is, like, the more verbal abuse you take, as long as it doesn't get to you, and that's the key, is like you have to be able to take it as something constructive. Like, don't take it personally, like, oh, they hate me. You have to separate yourself and your ego from like the things that you do and the way you present yourself. They're two different things.
Right.
So when someone makes a negative comment like, oh, you're so stupid because look at you wear your hat backwards or something, I'm just picking some obvious thing you're doing. You don't say, oh, like the hat backwards is part of my identity. Oh, if I change the way I wear my hat, I'm changing who I am to match other people. No, instead you'd be like, okay, they don't know who I am. They don't really know who the core. And even if they did, it doesn't matter. Who do you even care? What do you even care what this troll on the internet says, right?
Yeah.
But you got some feedback, and now you have another perspective to consider. So now you can say, okay, do I agree with that? Is that valuable information? Is it something I should be willing to consider? Okay, and it could be a little bit distracting, right? Because you have a path, and like if someone keeps pulling you off the path that are things that are unimportant. But I think you're smart enough to take all of this input and really refine yourself.
Yeah.
Like, because there may be some comments that may be helpful. For example, your mom was just chirping you on the phone saying, hey, I don't think on the podcast it was very good for you to call this old scientist doctor guy a little bitch. Because Cody said he looks like a little bitch, right? And it was funny, but actually, like, her perspective is helpful because, like, yeah, actually a lot of people might think that's offensive. So then you think to yourself, you wanted to get across a certain point, which is like, hey, you know, kind of a joke, like, hey, we're bodybuilders, what are we doing listening to this doctor nerd who has no gains, right? There's a funny joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And you had a funny thought, and you recognize that as an opportunity to make a funny joke, but you could also approach it just a little bit differently to where, if our goal is to entertain the audience and not offend them in a negative way, maybe offend them to get their attention in the beginning, but not offend them in a negative way, then maybe there's a way to make that joke just a little bit different to where it's less offensive and even more funny. So now, instead of just being mindless and just throwing out jokes as they come to you, like, you develop the ability. At first, when you're reviewing what you're going to say before you say it, it slows you down. But then you get faster at it, and then you're able to adapt to your audience and give them more of what they want and less of what they don't want without changing who you are, because you're still going to make the joke. You're still going to say it funny, but you're just going to say it in a bit. It's just like, do we talk like this when we're on camera and people can't understand us? No, we try to speak better so that people can understand us more, so that we're received better. And that's not changing who we are.
Yeah, it seems like some people get the humor, some people get the satire. Like, they know I'm just joking around, right? And it's fun for them because like, it's fun for me, it's fun for us. Some people don't get it. So I guess it's like kind of finding a balance of like kind of like not being too much, but like just putting it in the right time. You know, that kind of thing, I guess. But like, yeah, have you ever had like comments that like almost like kind of crushed your ego or like really put you in a bad mood kind of thing? Yeah. And like, how do you deal with that? Like, do you just kind of like let yourself feel like shit for that day and then just like kind of move on, or like what do you like?
You got to consider the source, right? So usually the people saying negative thing, I mean, here's the thing. Positive, successful people don't put other people down. Unsuccessful people put other people down because that's their way to become relatively more successful, by making other people seem less successful. So you have to understand that, like, if you're in a circle of very successful friends, they're going to build you up. Everybody's building each other up. If you're in a group of losers, they're going to all be bringing each other down, and
Yeah.
losers flock to losers, and successful people flock to successful people.
Yeah.
And the problem with the internet is like you have comments of both successful and unsuccessful people,
Yeah.
and the unsuccessful people will try to bring you down. So you have to understand, like, are you going to let them affect your emotional state? Like, that's what they're trying to do to make themselves feel better. It's for their own selfish benefit.
Yeah.
And that's okay. People can do that. It's natural human nature. But if you recognize that's the psychological phenomenon that's happening, it won't affect you so much. The other part is taking naps. When you take a nap, it resets you emotionally. So like a nap in the middle of the day gives you an entire second half of the day that you get to approach fresh. Because think about it, if something you said affects you the whole day, when you go to sleep that night, you wake up the next morning, that's not affecting you. What's in front of you is affecting you.
Yeah.
So like if you take more naps, it'll reset your brain. And you can do something short of a nap. You can take a mental break.
Yeah.
So like this girl over here that I'm with right here, when she's around a lot of people, even if it's positive, just a lot of people, it starts fragmenting her emotional state. She just goes by herself, take a deep breath, and she calls it taking a moment to herself, and she recenters herself, and then she can come back into that situation, and now things aren't affecting her as much.
Yeah, I think too also, like, maybe the first time I read like comments that were not good about me, like it definitely like affected me deeply. But then like after I kind of like got over it and maybe learned from what they said, like how to like do things in a kind of a better way, refine myself. Like now when I get like comments, it's actually like it didn't really faze me. It's just kind of like,
now imagine if you, like other influencer friends of mine, just went out and blocked everybody that said anything negative to you.
Yeah.
You would completely stop your personal growth and development.
Right.
You need that negative criticism. I mean, keep it in balance, of course. Don't throw yourself in just a circle of negativity.
Yeah.
But like, get that feedback, get that negativity, use that as different perspective, because a lot of the people out in the world are negative, and you got to learn how to deal with it. Like running away from it is like running away from physical labor, like running away from working out, running away from anything that's hard and traumatic to the body in a way that causes you to get stronger. Like welcome it,
right?
Embrace it,
right?
Be grateful for it. How different is your perspective on negativity when someone gives you negativity and you say thank you? I mean, you have to actually say it. I heard Elon say this on his story the other day. He's like, thank you to my haters. I love you guys. Like, I'm famous enough that I have haters. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's turning it into a positive thing.
Right.
And for a moment I hear that and I think, well, you don't really feel that way. You're just trying to spin it. And then I'm thinking, wait a second. But that's good. He went through the mental exercise. He didn't block any of these people. He said, thank you for being my haters. And now you just switched it psychologically. And it's not even about them. It's not even like, oh no, I'm being competing with these people. These people are attacking me. I have to attack them back by saying, oh, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's not that kind of thing. It's like, truthfully, for yourself, like, who cares what they think? Like, thank you for that input. Thank you for that attention. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I have enough value that you would take the time to criticize me.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you want to be is like irrelevant, uninteresting, boring, right?
Yeah.
If your goal is to get attention so that people will listen because you have an important message or some kind of value you want to convey to them, then you need their attention. And yes, some people are going to be negative about it, and that's going to help refine you, and you're going to get stronger at handling it.
So it's not even about like, because what if you just like didn't really care? What if you were just kind of on your path and you know where you're going and you just kind of don't really care what people say?
I think that's good also, because you have your path, you have your goal, and if dealing with the criticism doesn't get you closer to your goal, like it's not helpful, that's fine.
Right.
But for the same reason why I think it's good to take psychedelics every once in a while to challenge your own perspective, I think it's good to challenge your perspective sometimes and really listen to the negative criticism. So if you're going to take that approach, then I would set aside a time, one day a month where you say, today I'm going to be open to other people's perspectives. Because you think you set a goal and you think that's your goal and you think you're taking all the right steps to that goal. But sometimes you have to step back and look at like, what is the goal? What is my path to get the goal? Is that the optimal path? Is that goal what I really want? So every once in a while you take a step back and look at it. The same way when you do psychedelics gives you a different perspective on your life. That's just a perspective shift, but you can do that perspective shift by looking at yourself through other people's eyes as well.
Yeah. I guess that's where the growth is. right? Yeah.
I mean, what is the ultimate goal, right? If your goal is just to be an influencer and make a lot of money, what happens when you have a lot of money? Because I know a lot of people with a lot of money who aren't happy. You know who the happy people are, who the most effective people, by my definition, most successful people, are the ones that invested in their personal development.
Right.
So like, yeah, you might be thinking that your goal is to make a lot of money or be an influencer, but no, the truth is someday you'll realize your goal is the personal development. Money helps you get there, but if you're focused only on money and influence to get there, then when you do get that, you're going to have a whole other chapter of still having to catch up on personal development.
Yeah.
I say do both at the same time so you enjoy the journey more, and because also, like during this process, there's so many opportunities for personal development that you'll miss if you're just focused on the short-term goal of money and success. People think that money and success is the long-term goal. That's actually the short-term goal, because you can actually achieve that in a short period of time once you know what you're doing. The more time you spend around me, you'll learn more about how to make money faster.
Yeah.
And then once you get it, then what, right? I'd say build the personal development as part of the process.
Right. And I guess that's something good to document for others too, right?